Good evening, gentlemen. It's 10 o'clock. It's the 24th of September, 2022. The nights have drawn in. There's cold weather on the way. Our country is turning to whatever. We'll talk about that in a bit. But never mind. Saturday night, so glad to have you all here with us. I'm going to take a little sip here. First of all, bloody nice stuff. Gordon's gin. Love it. Okay, I'll say hello to everybody. It's your go. Good evening. Wayne. That's what she said. Terry Jones. Nice to hear from you. Shane Humphreys. Got to put this on the screen. Good little comment. Shane Humphreys. Good evening, Eddie and viewers. Only 7 days to a flight to Vietnam. Good for you, man. Vietnam is a great country. Great country. Okay. Hey Now is here. Chaz Brown. Jamie296. You thought Chaz Brown. Yeah, loving the Chaz Brown, loving the intro music. That's from the other channel, by the way. In case I cleared a lot of shite out of me. Out of the hard drive because it was getting all clogged up. Wasn't enough space there to edit videos and that. And I accidentally deleted the intro to this channel, so I'm using that one. But never mind anyway. Worst things happen in the world. John Mitch, nice to hear from you, John. How's it going? Capo 17, Motel. Leeds, okay. Leeds, good evening, Eddie. Not long now to your next adventure away from the UK. Bet you can't wait. Okay, yeah, absolutely. It's coming around. It's coming around. And I am determined. I'll just get this out the way with. I'm determined to be a new, slimmer, fitter, fresher Eddie by the time. Jesus, those beautiful Thai birds won't recognize me. They won't recognize me when they see me. In a couple of months' time, they just won't recognize me. I'm doing well. I can categorically say that I have got my enthusiasm back for exercise. I mean, really, I'm getting up for the daytime, an afternoon usually, because I'm a bit of a night owl. I'll get up an afternoon and a couple of cups of coffee and bang, I'm straight on that exercise bike. 1.5 hours, and then I go for a nice brisk speed walk there and back. I've lost a bit of weight and I feel so much better for it. Really do. Okay. Wayne Davidson, nice to hear from you. He's heading to Thailand as well. Kevin Smith, good evening. Delayed Dave, getting close to your trip, Eddie. You're getting excited. I am excited, and like I said, I've just said a moment ago, so I'm repeating myself. But my aim at this moment in time is to be significantly fitter. And I'm 60 years of age, right? And I put on a lot of weight in over the last year, from 20 years. Gradually got fatter and fatter. And now that I'm 60, I've adopted it's now or never approach. I either get rid of the weight now, or it's never going to happen. So many years I've began the year saying, this is the year that I want to get fit. This is the year that I want to get lean. And somehow it's never happened. But this year, it is happening. I'm getting better. Okay. Paul Hoskin, nice to hear from you. Pasig Kaibe. Gaz77. Oh, my God. Sat in bed smoking and drinking Bacardi and oranges that I nicked from Asda this month. Good for you, mate, anyway. I'm not encouraging you. I've got a feeling the busies are going to be watching this. Does Eddie actually know this person? He's got a string of offences from Asda. Let's see. Hey Now, thanks for one of your last videos on my YouTube. I have subbed to your channel because you were unique. Please keep your style. Well, I don't know what that means. I think you mean keep my style. Okay, cheers, mate. Anyway, cheers. Okay. Shaggy Rogers, the man, the myth, the legend, the steady Eddie. Thank you. Nice to hear from you. Bottle Baby, good evening. Jim Jets, Pele. Okay. Nice to hear from you. John Quayle. Oh, I have beautiful sunny clear sky morning here in Brisbane. Oh well, good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. I've heard that there's some, in Britain we always bloody panic over the weather, don't we? Slightest change in the weather, oh, we're panicking. We get hot weather. Oh my God, be careful you don't die of heat stroke. We get cold weather. The bloody ice age is returning. We're always panicking over something. But I do hear that there's some very autumnal, very wet and windy and colder weather on the way anyway. So I think summer's over. McLaren F1 race, good evening. Harold Betterton, hell yeah. Cy London, Kamasuki. Cheers, good evening. Danish Bacon, nice to hear from you. John Mitch, 40 bar to the... Oh, God almighty. Oh, my God almighty. 40 bar to the GB pound singing again. Okay, now is this because... Is our pound gone weaker, or is their bar gone stronger, or what's happened? It's changing daily, isn't it? Changing daily. Kamasuki, nice to hear from you. Andrew Hammond, nice to hear from you. El Terrifico, good to hear from you. Redmondo 777. Evening, Eddie. My birthday on Monday. Having a beer. Okay, good for you, mate. And a very, very happy birthday to you. Anyway. Capo 17, John Hughes. Oh my God, that sounds good. Patrick Kai Bay. Hope to see you on Ko Chang. Kai Bay is in full swing. Hope to see you on Ko Chang. Now, I went to Kai Bay early this year, didn't I? Right at the start of this year. And obviously it was very, very quiet because of the pandemic. But in the past, when I've been to Ko Chang, I've stayed at White Sands Beach, which I'm not really very keen on, but that's the main place. I went to Lonely Beach, where I thought the beach was much, much nicer, but it's more a young crowd. But I've never seen Kai Bay when it's in full swing. So even though I stayed there earlier this year, it would be nice to see it in full swing. So yeah, maybe that's on the menu this winter time. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Okay, so Sandra Taylor, nice to hear from you, Sandra. Nice to hear. Hope you're having a nice evening. Patrick Kai Bay. Yeah, we just seen it. Oh, by November. Good evening. Yogi Bear. Good evening, Ed. Do you remember Dinah Dawes? There's a thing on TV about her. Yeah, I remember Dinah Dawes. She was the glamour queen, wasn't she? She was on TV programs and comedy series in the 70s, really. And but she was a glamour queen from the 50s, and she mixed with people. Like the Crays and the Cray twins and stuff. She did mix with people like that. But I'm sure it's a wonderful character. I remember one of her last appearances was at the end of the 70s, because she actually died, in the early 80s. Not really that old. I don't know how old she was. She wasn't that old when she died. I don't think she made it to 60. But she... one of her last appearances, where she played a great part in an episode of The Sweeney, where she played this domineering mother, and she gives I'll give that Inspector Regal, when I see him, she gives him a belt, and she plays a real dragon. She plays a brilliant part in it. Yeah, Dinah Dawes was a legend, a real British legend. Frank Travels, nice to hear from you. Matthew Cartwright, good evening. John Quayle. Ed, she is currently applying for a business visa for my Vietnamese lady friend. Just a holiday for her. Oh, well, best of luck for that. Best of luck. Kamasuki 1. Eddie, you should do a fitness channel now, okay? Now, I don't want to go on about it too much, but seeing as you mentioned it, when I was on my exercise bike today, I'd done 1.5 hours, and she'll do another. Oh yeah, I've done about another 20 minutes or whatever. So best part of 2 hours, and then I went for a nice speed walk up this country lane, delightful country lane close to where I live, there and back. Yes, this little village, there and back. And I thought, you know what? The thing is, once you start losing weight, and every 2 pounds is like a bloody bag of sugar, you feel so light, and the enthusiasm, your enthusiasm builds up. And you never know. I mean, when I'm out in Thailand, I could do my own little Mr. Motivator selection of videos. That would be fun, wouldn't it? You thought? Good man, Eddie. Healthy body, healthy mind. Keep the good work. Well, 1 out of 2 isn't bad, okay? Cats and Good Coffee, good evening. Yogi Bear, good evening. Harold Betterson, any mixer with that gin? No, I just got a flavoured ice cube. A lime flavoured ice cube. I'll tell you what, that is bloody, that is good. That is lovely. That's lovely. That is lovely, lovely, lovely. I was going to skip forward a little teensy bit. Wayne Davidson, a nice super chat from Wayne Davidson. Thank you, Wayne. That'll get me a bottle of gin. A litre bottle from us. Cheers for that, mate. Anyway, I really, really do appreciate it. Okay. So, yeah, thanks for that, mate. Anyway. So let me see. Let me just have a little look at the chat. Oh, Martin Blonston, good evening, Eddie and chat. Pound is getting weaker by the day. Could parity with the dollar by November? Well, there's not that much difference now, is there really? I mean, you get used to, when you're traveling, you get used to paying in dollars anyway. Cambodia is almost exclusively dollars. I know they have the Cambodian rail, but it's about 4,000. It's always been about 4,000 to a US dollar. I mean, when you're traveling through Cambodia and you're using dollars all the time, then you forget about your own currency really. So you just get used to the dollar. But I come from the country of the United Kingdom, and we earn pounds here. So it's it's not looking good. I mean, well, we'll ask a few questions about this in a minute anyway. Hey, Mel, yes, keep your unique style, mate. Okay, thank you. Who's this? Ichigo. Just seeing Lisa Dale at Heathrow boarding flight G69 to Gambia. Yeah, absolutely the dirty bitch. Okay, good luck to it anyway. Good luck to it. Let me see. AJ, hi AJ. I think we should have a Mongoose bar with you as PM, Mark Oliver as Chancellor, and Gaz Minister for Crown. That will be fun. That will be fun. Jesus Christ! I mean, that budget yesterday, that mini budget, that man's made his mark. I can't pronounce his name. I'm not being funny or disrespectful, but I can't pronounce the name of the. When you got a chancellor, you can't even pronounce his bloody name. That's all I'm saying. See, Gas has got the best economics going. Gas 7-7. I've had 6 cigars and 2 full bottles of Bacardi today. I've just opened the 3rd bottle. I paid a total of 0 for the lot. This man, he should be the chancellor. Gaz should be the chancellor. He knows all about economics. Let's see, Mal. Good evening, Ed. Can't wait for your videos from Southeast Asia. I'm going to get over there early next year. Can't wait. I can't wait to get over there. But we got to talk about the pound and in fact our sinking bloody economy and our problems and all that in a minute. Capo 17. Diana Dawes was classed as the British Marilyn Monroe. She probably was. She was a gorgeous, buxom blonde, wasn't she? But buxom blonde in it. I mean, I think that was like in the 50s and maybe the 60s, but maybe the 50s, because she put on a lot of weight later on. I think she was kind of glamorous. She quickly put on a lot of weight later, didn't she? And it's after a while. But yeah, lovely woman. Diana Dawes, Roger or Dodger. It's a Roger from me. Tom Easton. Good evening, Tom. Good evening. Okay. Ivan, evening, Eddie. 2 more weeks and we'll be sitting on a Bangkok flight. Okay. Good for you, mate. Anyway, I've got to wait a while longer for mine. Michael DiCaprio, nice to hear from you. Griggles NZ, okay. Who's this? Who's this? Capo 7, slimming by shagging with Swing. That'll be all right. That'll be good, wouldn't it? Teddy Jones, he's done a cameo role in The Stepton. She done a cameo role in the Steptoe Son movie, flirting with Harold. It was hilarious. It was also a bit vulgar. I've seen that one. It's a bit vulgar. She's a big buxom blonde, and I see that they call this, rather. It's the nature of the movie. She's in a kitchen somewhere, and she opens a fridge with beer or spirits or whatever. She bends over and then says, "Right, can you see anything you like?" Oh, a bit vulgar. That bit vulgar. Tree Town, nice to hear from you. Tom Easton, 66 days. What's that? That's also, you'll be going there. Was that end of November, something like that? Let's see. Harold Betterson, £1 US. That is ludicrous. Well, get used to it, mate. Patrick Kaibe, it's nice to see how excited grown men can be. I hope you all have a stunning holiday in Southeast Asia, escaping the winter. Yeah, I can't wait, mate. Danish Bacon, get a singer white beater to show off the guns in silence. I will get a new. I'm not repeating myself here, but I deliberately haven't bought any new clothes or shirts or t-shirts or anything, jeans or anything for years, simply because I've always had this belief that in 6 months' time I'm going to lose loads of weight and they won't fit me, and somehow it's never happened. But this time, it really, really is going to happen. By the time I get out to Bangkok in early November, I will show off my new body. I promise you. Bottle Baby, nice to Errol Betterson. Richard Powlock, thank you for that super chat. Cheers. That's very, very kind of you. Good evening, Ed. Hope you're well. Yeah, you too, Richard. Okay, cheers for that. I really, really much appreciated. That will help with the Steady Eddie travel fund this winter time. Cheers for that, mate. Anyway, thanks, mate. Let's see. Gary Hughes, didn't Diana Dawes appear in the Night of Man video? I think she did. Actually, that was a good one. It was a Prince Charming. I mean, I wasn't keen on Adamant, but that is actually a very, very good song there. And she appeared on the videos. All of a sudden, the videos that came out in the early 1980s with Duran and Adamant, they were absolutely wonderful. Like, I mean, the videos were better than some of the songs. Charlie, right? Yeah, Prince Charming. Who's this? Chris Parker, leaving the UK for good at the end of November. Thailand for 3 months, then Malaysia and probably the Philippines. Visa options are pretty good for the latter too. Okay, that's great. That's terrific. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Leeds. My ex-wife has messed up my plans for the holiday of the town this year after running up debt in my name. Not happy. Not happy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God almighty. That's bloody awful. That's dreadful anyway. Never trust women. Okay, we'll never trust anyone, but I wouldn't trust them. I remember when I left Liverpool in the 1980s, and I ended up with another Liverpool friend, and we went to work on the runways at Heathrow Airport, and we started earning money that because Liverpool was very bad then. All of a sudden, we were earning money in London, and my friend was a couple of years older than me, and he was married, and he had a lovely, tasty missus, but his wife was a bit of a spendthrift. And what we started doing when we were in London, we were working hard, and we were pocketing a nice bit of money, working on building sites and that sort of stuff. And it came to Christmas time, and I had amassed a nice wedge of money which I'd never had before in my life. And my friend had as well. He'd amassed a nice wedge of money, and that he'd never all honest work. Problem is, when he was married, he went back to his family in Liverpool, just before Christmas time, and he was so proud of the money that he worked hard for and saved up, and he handed it to his missus, his beautiful blonde missus. He said, "There you go, love. That's what your loving husband is earned just for you." And then she went out and within a couple of hours, she'd blown the bloody lot of it on fancy clothes. And oh my God, he was so pissed off. They're so pissed. That's women for you. Guys, I'm planning to go to town in December for Gas 77. I'm planning to go to Thailand in December for free. Just need to plan. I was nick the plane ticket. Oh my god. What are you like? What are you like? What are you like? Shaggy Rogers, Ed will have a six-pack suit. Anything is possible. I must admit, the one exercise I can't. I can do, but I hate it. I hate sit-ups. I can't stand them. So I can't stand it. But I wouldn't rule it out, man. I wouldn't rule it out. Yogi Bear, the last thing I remember Diana Dawes being in was being in the Adam Ant video, which is about 1981. Prince Charming, she was 53 and she was 53 and died in 1984. Jesus, she's 53 and died in 1984. Oh my God, 53. Oh my God, that's no age. That's no age. Didn't her husband, I think his name was Alan Lake, he was in a few, minor little B movies or whatever. I seem to recall he was so upset he couldn't live it out, and I think he committed suicide, didn't he? Soon afterwards, didn't he blow his brains out? He just couldn't live without her. She must have been some woman. Cowboy Vic episode. He's doing the impressions there. Just curious. I'll do my Bernie Winters. There you go. Bernie Winters, half of the crappiest comedy duo of the 1970s. Lewis say, I'm going 12th of November for a month to Pattaya. That sounds a good time to go. That's just a little bit before the peaks. Well, it's going into the peak season, isn't it? But I think November might be a little teeny bit quiet because it's like the calm before the storm. Good for you, mate. Anyway, good for you. Good for you. Ricardo, I remember Diana Dawes and the worm that turned on the Two Ronnie show. Oh, wonderful one. Danish bacon. I just have. Let's see. Richard Palawak, never trust a woman with your. Well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No one trust women with anything. Jesus Christ. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Harold Besson, did you like London, Ed? Not really, not to live there. No, I only lasted about 6 months there. London's a great place to visit, but it's not a great place to live in. I mean, because you think about it, you think of all the centre of London, all the famous sites, all that. If you lived in London, you wouldn't be living there because it's ridiculously expensive. You end up living in some kind of grotty suburb, and I couldn't wait to get out of it, to be honest with you. I went to live somewhere else, Surrey or whatever. Paul Hoskin, Asda have limited their own brand food to only 3-item bare visit. It's like that when you order as well. I mean, it's like that when you order. I got 3 cases of Coors last week. Terry Jones, I've been priced out of visiting Pattaya this Christmas. Flights too expensive, 1,400. I will probably go around February time. Oh, well, Christmas is always an expensive time, isn't it? It's always ridiculously expensive because obviously, some people that's the only time really that they have is the weeks around Christmas time. January, I think January or February, I think it'll be better then. Let me see. Okay. Let me just say, okay. Donald Trump, nice to hear from you, Donald Trump. Nice to hear from you. Leeds, yes, I won't ever get married again. It's amazing how women can magically make your money disappear. Oh, well, what's he? They spend it on the most dumbest bloody things, don't they? They love shopping with, and jewelry and all this. This guy, is that what you work hard for? So you can hand the money over to Mrs. and she goes and bloody squanders it all and that crap. Pele, okay, thank you for that, mate. Thank you. Capo 17, London is a rat race life. Okay, sorry, I've got a bit of an icky nose here. Sorry about this. Yours travels, nice to hear from you. Good evening, Ed and gang. I'm boxing on the TV and boxing on my phone. Your stream on my iPad. So will be in and out of the city. Well, good for you, mate. Good for you. Yours, of course, was on this show last week. Yours is from Liverpool, and he loves his cruises. And he was good enough to come on and even show us outside of the cabin so we could see the ship that he was on. And he's had a great time. Post some brilliant stuff on Facebook. His visits to places like Helsinki and other places, Lithuania and Estonia and that sort of stuff. Fantastic. Good for you. Good for you. Nice to hear from you, mate. Paul Hoskin, if there were no bar girls, I wouldn't go to Thailand. Oh, well, good for you, mate. Anyway, Roger Hughes, nice to hear from you. Okay, Mal, tired of this rat race we live in. I'm ready to retire in Thailand and smile for the rest of my life. Don't say that. I mean, the thing is, some places when you actually lived in all the time. I've met many expats in Thailand and other places, and some of them, bizarrely enough, are as miserable as sin. You know, a lot of them have very negative experiences. Three Town, Ed, is your favourite backpacker open now? The one there, the Swan Inn. Well, I won't be staying in the Swan Inn for sure. That's for sure. Andy T, good evening, Steady. Where do you think you will be on Christmas Day? I thought I'll probably be somewhere in Cambodia. If it all goes well, because I have booked hotels there. So somewhere on Cambodia. Eason, man, nice to hear from you, Eason, man. Got some great information. He lives in Isan in Thailand. Who else thinks lady drinks are just a scam now, especially the shot glass ones? They give you a shot day and then down in 2 seconds. Well, I mean, they've probably always been like that, haven't they? I mean, lady drinks aren't that expensive. They're more expensive than your drink, but they're not really that expensive. I mean, not when you compare them to bloody Eastern European places. You buy a girl in a tourist trap a drink, and you sell an arm and a leg. But they've always been a bit of a scam. They're probably not real alcohol because, if they were getting lady drinks all day, they'd be bloody pissed by the end of the night, wouldn't they? So, yeah, they've always been a bit of a scam. Yogi Bear, I found this better to not book within a week of them being off or going back to school. But November, they rise to Thailand due to the high season. Absolutely. Well, I think December's the really busy month, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit of a big question here. Okay, a big question. Let me just see what is this. Now, yesterday we had this we had this sort of mini budget, and it went down like the band on the Titanic. No one was really impressed. Well, not many people anyway. I mean, basically what it is, the new chancellor, the new prime minister and the new chancellor got together, and basically the gist of it is that is that they are giving big tax cuts to people, to the well-off. Okay, now the well-off, the big earners, they do pay a lot more tax than the rest of us. But even so, the idea is that they give big tax cuts to the well-off, those the highest earners, and then it generates more wealth for the country. And then at the end, it results that it then trickles down to the poorer in society. Yeah, and if you believe that, you believe anything. Okay, and in the meantime, we've got I think it's up to 30,000 illegal immigrants have crossed in dinghies across the Atlantic this year. The fuel bills, gas, electricity, and all the other stuff is going through the roof. People are going to. Some people are going to go hungry this year. They're going to have to choose between heat or eat. In a cold winter, some people might not even be able to afford to have the heating on in their own home. Okay. So the question is, okay, so the question is, and it is a bit of a clue to the question. I've got a little picture here. How about this for the question? Now I know, like there might be many Americans and other countries in there, but it affects us. It's going to affect us all. Of it. It's going to be a worldwide problem, one way or the other. But we're in Britain now, so the question is, there you go. There's a picture of it. There you go. United Kingdom down the shitter. Okay. There you go. There's a picture there. Okay. And the question is, is the UK going down the toilet? I mean, that's the way it's looking to. I can't really see anything really positive right now. Our pound's turning to shite. It could go a lot worse. It could become really, really valueless, and then none of us will be able to afford to go on holiday. And so anyway, what does anyone think of this? Anyone got an opinion? Is the UK going down the toilet? Okay, there you go. Gas77. I won't be going hungry as I've got a particular skill that gets me shopping free. Okay, the police are after you. Wayne M. Bankers will do well for me. So will the highest earners. Typical Tory values. Okay. Let's see. Jake, it's get mostly the house owners, I guess. We're safe in the basement with set price. Okay. Stuart Lennox, about time to pay the bar staff fair wages instead of relying on lady things. Okay. I did not realize to Thailand. Leeds, no, I think it will pick up. When? When's it going to pick up? When's the UK going to pick up? It's something that's going to happen anytime soon, mate. Yours travels, no, it's just a 2 to 3 year blip. I think we've been having blips for a very, very long time. I mean, when you think about it, but I mean, the Brexit vote was about 6 years ago. The pound took a nosedive then, and it's just got worse since. It's never recovered, really, when you think. Not good for us travellers. Let me see. Jet Hopper, it's still the best country in the world. Okay. Mark Holland, good evening, Mark. Nice to hear from you. It's good evening, Eddie, in chat room. Okay, nice to have you there, Mark. Cheers. Seems that way, Eddie. Let's see. Sandra Taylor seems that way, Eddie, but hopefully it will pick up. When's it going to pick up? I mean, let's understand that what the Chancellor did yesterday, the new Chancellor. The new Chancellor. Give him a chance. Give him and Liz a chance. But what he did was a gamble. It was a big gamble, and it didn't go down well with the markets either because it was a gamble. Basically, he's offering huge tax cuts to the better earners. Huge tax cuts for the better earners, but they're borrowing a lot of money in order to fund these tax cuts in the hope that it's going to generate wealth, and that in its essence is a gamble. Sounds like a gamble to me. Let's see, Capo 17. No, but it will take a few years to recover. Let's see. McLaren, the race is going. I have to sell my bloody my body on OnlyFans. Okay. Yogi Bear, unless this government do a complete U-turn, we're looking at going back to the 70s. Well, I was quite young in the 70s, but I remember it was a terrible, turbulent time. It was a dreadful time. I mean, by the end of the 1970s, with Jim Callaghan, the country was bloody on its knees, wasn't it? Even though the European countries didn't really, regard us. We were like this. We were known as the sick man of Europe by the end of the 1970s. I mean, massive inflation. But I mean, at least we haven't got loads of unemployment now. We have massive unemployment in those days. At least we haven't got that now. But it's not looking good. Let's see. Lewis C. North CO was our last chance to turn things around, but we blew all the money on out-of-town shopping centres. Okay. Jamie296, what they have done is a gamble. It may pay off, but if it goes wrong, then we were in big trouble. You have to gamble with our money, with our money. I mean, that's the essence of a gamble. It's great if you win. It's bloody terrible if you lose. Capo 17, we'll have to let my butler go. Oh, well, good for you. Richard Palwach, Pound's brilliant for me at the moment. I live overseas, so I send money back to UK. I'm getting a brilliant exchange. Well, good for you, good for you, mate. Okay, well, it's yours. I mean, I'd be happy as well if I lived overseas, to be honest with you. Good for you, mate. Anyway, let me see. Who's this? Johnny B. Hi, Steady. Nice to see you, pal. You look very lean. I think the pound will recover. It's always fluctuating. Keep the faith. The pound will recover. It's at a 37-year low. 37. When was 37 years ago? 1985. 1985. I mean, that's bloody. That's a long time ago. I mean, it's not going to recover anytime. It's going to happen overnight. No, it took a no. The last time the pound was any good was about 7 years ago, about a year or two before Brexit. And Brexit came, it went downhill, and it's just it's constantly gone downhill ever since. Because I've been going abroad every year on my travels. But now it's just getting wet. But for the traveler's perspective, what would happen if your pound really, really devalues big time? I mean, you look at what happened with Turkey. I mean, their Turkish lira. Well, when I first started going out to Turkey, it was about 2.5 Turkish lira to a pound, whereas now it's about 20. It's about 20. Their currency is valueless. I mean, who's to say, honestly, say that our currency couldn't go the same way? I mean, it's it worries me. It worries me. Lieutenant Colombo's glass eye. No, that's Johnny B. Lieutenant Colombo's glass eye started going down the toilet because of Brexit. The UK cut its own throat. I mean, I've got mixed feelings about Brexit. I'm not saying which way I voted, but the thing is, we have had a lot of Brexit has caused a lot of crap for us. But the fact is, you cannot have other countries like Germany telling Britain who we can and can't have in it. You can't have them telling us that we should have more immigrants in our country, whether we like it or not. You simply can't have that. But the ironic thing is, the illegal immigrants have probably gone up since Brexit. They haven't gone down. They've gone up. Fran Rush, I had how much in bars? I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know. But it's about 770 quid. I am Tilt. It's gone down the toilet. More information than we need. Yes. Gaz77. I'm going to open an OnlyFans page. Yeah, okay. Good for you, mate. Can't wait to see it. Yours travels. We always recover. They said the same in the 2008 recession. We did recover. The pound did recover a little bit from that recession. But it wasn't that bad, really. That was an awful recession worldwide, wasn't it? Let's see. Lewis C. Trickle down doesn't work. Better give money to the poor as they spend it in the local community. I mean, it's controversial, isn't it? But you give tax cuts to the highest earners, but then they are the ones who pay the most tax. Basically. I mean, I know it may sound really, really harsh, but harsh didn't say. But how many of the poor are actually going to generate wealth for the economy? I know that doesn't sound very nice, but you know what I mean. Martin Blunston, the new government has bet the house on growth, and borrowing has gone through the roof. I mean, God, I actually thought about 12 years ago that Cameron and Osborne, they were the most underrated Prime Minister and Chancellor, certainly in my lifetime. I thought they were very, very underrated because as soon as Cameron came in, it was focusing on the economy because it was in a terrible state. Labour had spent all the money. But Cameron and Osborne, I thought their policies were really, really good. And they weren't perfect, but I thought Cameron was very, very underrated. I wish Cameron was Prime Minister now. I really, really do. I really, really, really do. Cameron resigns as soon as Brexit vote because he was a Remainer and he felt that his position as Prime Minister was untenable once the Brexit vote came in. You can't have a Remainer in a country that's just voted for Brexit. But then Liz Truss is a Remainer. She's a Remainer. I must have. I wish Cameron could come back. I think Cameron and Osborne were very, very underrated. I really, really, really do. At the end of the day, the economy is all important. It's everything. Without the without the economy, without getting the economy, that's everything else turns to shite. You know, I would much rather see Cameron and Osborne in that government now, leading that government, rather than the. I know we don't know them yet. They haven't had a chance to prove themselves, but it's not a good start, is it? Let's see. Alan Hayes. Yes, we're in a spiral now of rising interest rates and rampant inflation and unchecked borrowing that will be made to pay back. We are doomed. Well, there you go. There you go. Jamie 296, essentially a run on the pound has gone from unthinkable to quite possible. Yeah, yeah. Worries me, mate. Worries me, mate. I mean, how many British people? I mean, myself, I'm not bloody rich. If the pound really, really did go down the shitter and became valueless, that'd be the end of my travels. I mean, a lot of us, we simply couldn't afford. If us British people were going abroad with a currency that's worth nothing, then how are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? David Merchant, the pounds will become an ounce. It's frightening. Terry Jones, yeah, Tom, not British Airways. Okay, I'm not putting that word on there. Okay, Lieutenant Colombo's glass eye. The Bank of England increased the interest rates to reduce inflation, but the government cut tax, which will now counteract inflation. Moronic. Oh, well. Let's see. Yogi Bear. Ed, we don't have high unemployment because interest rates are low, but they will rise. When they rise, people are laid off as companies cut back the interest on loans they took at low rates. Okay. Leeds. Labour messed the economy up before the Conservative. Yeah, you're probably right, because Labour, the way I see it, they've always been the party of borrowing. You know, their policies always to borrow themselves out of a crisis. I think Gordon Brown done the same thing, borrow out of a crisis. Margaret Thatcher, you know, she was against the borrowing. Her policy was trying to borrow as little as possible. What did she say? When we had all those problems in the 1980s, which were mainly left by a Labour government, she loved to say, "Oh, I can't just wave a magic wand to make it all right." But Thatcher was she was not a nice person. She was cruel, but she was better than any of these people we got nowadays. Capo 17, the Thai baht was strengthened against the pound as they estimate 65 billion Taurus, $65 billion Taurus spend in the next 4 months. Oh, Jesus. Well, it was 37. It was around about 38. I think it touched 37 at one point about 3 or 4 years ago, before the pandemic. Which is really, really dreadful. I wonder, will it go less than that? Well, I wonder, oh, Jesus Christ. It's not good. It's not good. McLaren, my dog recently accumulated some vet bills. Wonder if we can pull off some Paulie Buffalo scams in the bars at a time. Oh, it'd be an idea. David Cook, I voted out in the EU with a load. Yeah, okay. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. Yours tells, they always said Brexit would set us back 10 to 15 years, but in the long run, it'll be far better. We didn't know, I think, because I mean, the polls were saying that we were going to remain. And then when the Brexit vote actually happened, I think a lot of people were shocked, because it was actually quite a surprise. And we thought, if Brexit happens, what's going to happen? Because most of us have only ever known the European Union, really, or the common market, as it was called originally. What's going to happen? I mean, we're gonna go back to the Stone Age or something. Wayne, I'd be happy to go back to the 70s. People could afford to buy houses, and the music was better. Okay, so in other words, you know, you want to wear flares and platform boots. Good for you, mate. Easter man, Brexit was one thing. 4.5 years trying to stop the real damage. Okay. Jamie296. When I was in Japan in 2007, you could get about 250 yen to the pound. Now there's about 150. So you tell me that Japan's getting. Somebody else mentioned this. Someone else mentioned this yesterday about Japan. Like the yen is going really, really weak. So maybe it's time to. Well, that's interesting. I've never been to Japan. I don't know that country. Teddy Jones, yes. Steptoe and Son movie just starting on Channel 5 now. Okay, good night, everyone. Everyone switch off this channel and go and watch Steptoe and Son. Thanks for that. Yeah. Lewis C. Teddy Jones, you dirty old man. Okay. That son, you know, the son of Steptoe, what was his name? Harry Corbett. He apparently was a really, really quality actor. He was a really good actor. He was tipped to be, you know, to go much further, but he died quite young, didn't he? That poor chappie. Rusty Led, nice to hear from you, Rusty Led. Nice to good morning from a rainy Pitaya. Well, yeah, it's in the rainy season, isn't it? But I'm sure there's still plenty of fun to be out there. Good for you anyway, mate. I hope those floods that we're hearing about haven't caused too much damage. I really, really hope they haven't. Nice to hear from you. Teddy Jones, lol, Harold. Harold! That Wilfred Bramble, he was a bloody brilliant actor. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yours Travels, they all tell lies. LC, I don't know what that is. Labour will tell the truth. Tony Blair, oh, they're all bloody. I don't know. They're all out for themselves. Yogi Bear, Liz Truss is set to borrow 200 million since he voted in. You don't borrow money to give tax cuts. It's living a bit above your means. Okay, cheers. I am told the WEF. He doesn't like it. I am told doesn't like the WEF. The WEF are deliberately collapsing the UK and euro. The dollar will follow. They're trying to force us in a digital currency enslavement. Okay. Now, should we talk about should we do this on another night? Not tonight, but we'll do this on, you know, it's controversy. There's about the WF, the World Economic Forum, and all the people who maybe I am still would like to, you know, tell us his opinions on it. But I think maybe on another night, maybe Monday or Tuesday, we'll talk about this thing called the Great Reset. Okay. Now, you know, I've heard the phrase "the Great Reset." I heard people, talk about the Great Reset, and apparently it's something that came out from the WEF. But I've been reading a little bit about it and watching a couple of videos today, and it's what can I say about it? Me first, it seems like something like a draconian science fiction movie idea. That's all I'll say at this point. Sounds very, very sinister to me. Alan Hayes, Cameron and Osborne were the ones who started the austerity policy. Bad recession, mate. They had to. I mean, you know, the borrowing had just got out of control, and Cameron was the one who explained, you know, how much interest they're paying on the loans. I mean, you just can't. Gordon Brown borrowed his way out of a recession, out of a crisis. Really, that's the way it was. Let me see. Okay. Isan man. Let me see. Isan man. Okay. Isan man. £1, £1, €1, and $1. Let's make one currency and make it electronic, so we know every penny you spend and what sanction anybody the wrong guy. Let's let's make one country and make it electronic with every penny you spend and what sanction anybody with wrong thing. Okay, it's well, you know, I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's all the bloody same now, doesn't it? Let me see. Yogi Bear. Sorry, that's 200 billion. Sorry, that's 200 billion. Okay, 200. Gordon Brown borrowed 500 billion. 500 billion in one go to buy us out of recession. Bloody awful. Okay. Well, Sean has heard this policy been tried many times and failed every time. Okay. Where am I now? Lieutenant Columbo's glass eye. Where has Cameron gone? Ah, yes, he's in the shed with the rest of the tools. Okay. Well, 30,000 illegals coming across in dinghies this year. Is that a record? And you know, the year's not even. I think you know there's going to be less of the illegals now, simply because they they've there's going to be less of the illegals simply because the winter's coming and the seas get rough. I think it's more of a seasonal thing now. But the pound's turning to shite. And I'm kind of wondering, that's the thing that worries me as someone who likes traveling. Just how low can the pound go? Just how low can it really, really, really go the same way as if our pound just, it frightens me to even think about it. If our pound turns to shite, that'll be the end of my traveling. What am I going to live for? Bloody Netflix? Stay in this country? Netflix? Go down to bloody Weatherspoons every day with the rest of the deadbeats. Start going to a local social club. You know, start forming a bloody relationship with 20 Stone Stella. Oh my God Almighty! I need my travel, mate. My life is built around my travel, and if it becomes unaffordable to travel, then my life turns to shite. Okay, where are we? Teddy Jones, why talk about politics and politicians? It's all a charade. It's all planned years ahead. It's just a show. Politicians and actors. I'll tell you one thing I bloody do know about politicians. Between Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and what's his name, the Chancellor, who I can't pronounce. I don't mean that disrespect. It's simply, I can't remember his name. I will learn his name. But between that lot and all the people who are representing our country right now, I don't think there's ever been such a time of such mediocrity in politics. I mean, Nigel Farage has got charisma. When Nigel talks, I listen. Now, I thought his language, during the Brexit campaign was a bit bombastic. 70 million Turks are going to be heading this way. No, they're not. Turkey's not even in the bloody European Union. He used frightening scare tactics and everything. But come on. Anyone who's seen Nigel Farage, that man would wipe the floor with a lot of these people. Yeah, he would. He'd wipe the floor with a lot of them. Get a job, Barry. I just ate 4 bars of chocolate, no self-control. Okay. Alan H. The Tories have bottomed more in the last 12 years than every Labour government that's ever been put together. Fact. Okay. Daniel Mills. Meanwhile, the government is sending out boats daily to collect thousands of immigrants from war-torn France. Meanwhile, the government is sending out thousands of immigrants from war-torn France. Okay. I'm sorry, my mind was in somewhere else then. Daniel Mills, meanwhile, the government is sending out boats daily to collect thousands of immigrants from war-torn France. Yeah, I know you mean. We'll like it, mate. Like it. I like it. Leeds, yes, I admired Margaret Thatcher, but on that, but I hate the poll tax. Oh, she was a cow. What a bold seer. Oh, but she was good at running the country. She was good at running the country. She was good at running the country, and she was. I think she was. Let's see, Martin Blunton. Instead of a Thai sandwich head, we won't be able to afford a cheese sandwich if the pound. The pound keeps falling. Okay, let's see. Rusty Lid. The Bamboo Bar opened this weekend, so our MILF supply is The bamboo, so our milk supplies. And I was never really one for the bamboo bar in Pattaya. That's apparently well known for a milk place. Because it's so close to Walking Street. Whenever I found myself down that way, I just wanted to go to Walking Street basically. I never really bothered much with the bamboo bar. But good for you anyway. Good for you, Rusty Lid. Anyway. Thanks, always a reminder. I have a good tip to help the economy. Let's join the European Union. Oh, well. No, we're out now. I don't regret us being out. I'm not saying which way I voted, but I don't regret us leaving the European Union. You simply cannot have other countries telling us that we should have more immigrants, into our country. You simply can't have that. Mind their own bloody bit. And we were never fully. It was a strange relationship we had. It's a strange relationship we had with Europe. I mean, I always thought any club, whether it's a bloody social club or it's a political group or whatever it is, any club, all the members abide by the same rules. So we never abided by the same rules because there's other countries there who simply wouldn't have that euro, or in our case, we didn't want the euro. So it's a strange relationship, really. Simon Depp, unfortunately, we are looking doomed. It's very worrying. Nothing us plebs can do about it. Okay? Charles Brown, signed to repel all the rotten EU rules, which Gus kept quiet about pre-Brexit. Okay? Daniel Mills, I advise anyone to leave the UK if they can. The government treats immigrants better than its own citizens. Yeah, I mean, just look at these. I don't want to be categorized. Say the name of the country, but the name of the country begins with Al and it ends with Bania. But they're coming in and bloody, oh my God, the bloody racketeering and the crimes. Organized crime, and it's all going. Look what Sweden's doing now. Look at Sweden, with its brotherly love. Sweden, famous for, for blonde-haired, people like ABBA. Sweden's famous for ABBA and Volvo and Bjorn Borg. Sweden, a peaceful country like that. Now they've got record levels of crime and shootings and even terrorist activity in Sweden. Because why? Because they were kind enough to let them all in. They said, come on, we'll look after you. Come on, we'll look after you. And now what's bloody happening? Jesus Christ. Tomorrow, you've got that blonde lady who may well become the new leader. It's a prime minister or president or whatever of Italy. Tasty looking. Do you know what? I don't think there's ever been a time when I like to have rumpy pumpy with so many world leaders. That dancing girl who in Finland, the Liz Truss isn't a bad looking woman, and that Italian baby. Oh, jeez. I mean, I never wanted to shag Harold Wilson or bloody not even Margaret Thatcher, but now, I mean, hot stuff, man. But I think some of these countries like Italy and Sweden are starting to get tough. They're starting to get tough with the immigrants because some of them are just coming here and they just want to cause major problems from us. We need, look at our country now. I mean, can't really. I better shut my mouth for the moment anyway. Alan Hayes, a lot of people on here don't realize the trouble the country is in. Well, it looks like it's going down the toilet to me. I mean, we had a budget yesterday with these newbies, Prime Minister and Chancellor. These newbies, they've come in. They've done a mini budget. It went down like the band on the Titanic. Hardly anyone was impressed. And it could very, very well be the disaster we simply don't need right now. Okay? Tom Easton, I would love to leave the UK for good, but can't afford to yet. Well, if the pound takes a nosedive any further, I think none of us will be able to. We'll be stuck here, stranded. Pele, globalism is ruining the West. Take your countries back. Okay, yeah, sounds good to me. David Cook. Eddie might have to sleep on the beach with the Becker Bowl outside 7-Eleven. Oh, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely. I can imagine it, mate. I can imagine it. I mean, you see it. I've seen, Westerners. I mean, there's an old foreign fella. He might be European. I don't know what country he's from. Um, who hangs around second road somewhere, and he's always asking you for money, isn't he? And you think, well, you come from a European country. I mean, what did you come over here, spend all your money, and you've never been able to afford the flight back again or something? You wonder how people get in that situation. Capo 17, Wilford Branson always looked like he kicked the bucket at any minute. Well, that's what old people do. But I like, he was Wilfred, was that his name? Wilfred Bramble. Oh, bloody God, some quality actors in those days. I watched, a while back, I watched some of the old Carry On movies. And really, what made those movies work more? I mean, some of the ambitious ones, Carry On Cleo, Carry On Spine, and all that. But then later, they descended into like tits and jokes about tits and bums and all that kind of stuff. Not that I got anything against that. But what really, really made the Carry-Ons more than anything work was the quality, the brilliant quality of the actors in it. Some great lines, but those comedy guys, Sid James, Barbara Windsor, Hattie Jakes, Charles Hawtrey, Kenneth Williams, Bernard Breslau. Oh, Frankie Howard made an appearance. Just brilliant comedy actors. And don't actors always say that comedy is a lot harder than drama? In fact, in terms of the Carry On movies, the only thing I can compare to it since is that wonderful series Benidorm, which I've watched over and over again. Wonderful stuff. Anyway. Your travels for Thailand regulars, things might seem to be expensive now, but to us newbies, Thailand will be so cheap compared to USA, London, and most other places. That's very, very true. You were quite right. I mean, if you're used to going to European countries, then Thailand will seem very, very cheap to you. The hotels, still great value. Paul Loskin, it won't stop the dinghy divers coming to the UK. Oh, well, they'll still come here. Ken Christopherson, hi Eddie, going down the drain for Denmark to know one is safe. Okay, going down the drain for Denmark to know one is safe. Wilfred Bramble was in the Beatles movie Hard Day's Night. That was in the Beatles movie. Yeah, he was. He played the part of the uncle of one of them. I don't know if it was Paul's uncle, but they were good fun in that movie. But I must admit, you mentioned that there's a scene where Wilfred Bramble is with the Beatles, and they weren't proper actors. They weren't actors, but he was, and his performance, he just shows he was a quality actor. Quality. Michael Gianneas, nice to hear from you, mate. Nice to hear from you. Daniel Mills, morons blindly walking into a cashless society. Yeah, the thing is, when everything that you pay is with credit card, whatever, it's like a way that they can control you. The big brother out there is controlling everyone. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. John Mitch, Dinah Dawes is starting on Steptoe and Son on Channel 5. Yeah, everyone tune it out, John. Did she get a tit? No, she's not. I'm not going to say that. Michael Gianneas, great reset equals, oh, God, dreadful. Leeds, Illuminati, okay. Eastern man, instead of building back better, they should just put it back the way it was before they broke it. Well, I don't know, but I mean, Britain, since Britain, I'm not blaming Brexit. I think we had to pull out, and it will be eventually. Eventually, we may get our act together again in this country. But right now, we've got bloody people are just pouring across the channel when we don't want them, and we can't seem to stop them. Crime, they're causing crime and misery everywhere. Our pound is turning to shit. Well, it already has done, and it looks like it's going to get worse. And then yesterday, with that announcement, you know, the mega our chancellor actually gambling with the gambling. That's a terrible word, but it looks like that's what he's done. Michael Janaeus, thank you for that super chat. Michael Janaeus, cheers, mate. Thank you for that. Much appreciated, much appreciated. And someone else gave me a nice super chat as well. I was going to say thank you to this one. Okay, Richard Palawak. Okay, thanks for that, Rich. I think you gave a super chat before. Thank you. That's really, really generous of you, mate. I really, really appreciate it. That will, all super chats will help towards my travels anyway. They will help towards my travels. So they will help to pay for my hotels, my beer, my meals, my camera equipment, even my dirty massages. Thanks for that, mate. Anyway, cheers, cheers. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's just have a little look here. Can't talk about Putin. Yogi Bear, Thatcher sorted out the mess that was Labour in the 70s, and she put a lot of money in a lot of people's pockets, and she took no crap from any country. That's why she was respected well. Yeah, that's why she was the Iron Lady. That's why she's. I don't know. I don't know, mate. If I she loved to say, I can't just wave a magic wand and put everything right. If I could wave a magic wand right now, and I'd say, you know, put Thatcher in charge of instead of what we've got right now, then I'd do it. I'd wave a magic. I'd rather have Cameron and Osborne in charge, but you know they're not here anymore, are they? Not around anymore. Paul Hoskin, if the 4-minute warning comes, what would you do? Well, knowing me, I'll probably be asleep during it anyway, so it wouldn't bother me. Alan H. 2 immigrants in Sweden robbed 2 teenage Swedes, stripped them, and then urinated on them in a film. Dreadful, dreadful. Sweden, it's not a country that I've ever been to, but, you know, I mean, as far as I know, Sweden has been over generous, a soft touch, even softer than England, and they paid the price for it. Well, look what happened to Germany as well a few years ago. I believe it was on New Year's Eve. All these refugees that they brought in, and then there was a massive assault on women in Cologne, and no country should be a soft touch. The reason that all of these people are coming from these countries is because their own countries are shite. That's the reason, and they want to come and you know, and if we're ever going to help them, they need to respect our laws in this country. They need to respect our culture and our laws in our country. But we're too soft. We're too soft. Roy Jones came back from Thailand last night. Had to wait a few hours for my coach at Heathrow. And nearly feeling I was in another country. Oh, I know it, mate. Yeah, I know. Been there many times. Citizen Mikey, Eddie, did you go to Rio de Janeiro when you went to South America? I'm thinking about going. I've been to Rio. I've been there a couple of times, and it's Rio's wonderful. Absolutely, it's a wonderful, wonderful city. Now, don't let people tell you that as soon as you step off the airplane, you're going to get a gun held to your head. It's not dangerous. You can walk around Rio, but it helps. It helps if you look like a scruffy bastard, you know, the way that I do. If you have anything that looks valuable on you, then you know you're going to be. It's the same anywhere, but also keep your wits about you at all times. But Rio's wonderful. I went up to see the Christ, which was wonderful. You know, a little bit disappointing, you know, but but because it is just a statue at the end of the day. But also, I almost got a cable car, Sugarloaf Mountain. But it was windy and rainy on that particular day because I've been there twice, and but yeah, Rio's great. Some beautiful women there, lovely women. Yeah, go to Rio, you'd love it, love it. McLaren F1. I've been saying for years, even before the pandemic, that there will be a huge economic slump with the amount of debt this country and a good amount of the population have accumulated. Well, that's it. I am Tilt. I work it. I mean, let me just say, with regards to debt, I live in the southwest of England, and this has always been a very, very debt-ridden place. I mean, the southwest of England is not a rich place. It can't compare to the southeast at all. The southwest, in the southwest, it's a lot of these towns. It's got a high level of debt, very, very low paid part of the country. And yet you see these people, even some young people who are driving around in nice cars, and you think, well, where did they get all the money? Because we all know it's not a wealthy part of the country, and the reason is because they do it on debt. They do it on debt. They've got a culture of debt. Rusty Led, regardless of the economy, the no money, no honey rule is still in effect. Goes without saying, mate. Goes without saying. Let me see. Why feels? Eddie, what have you had for your tea tonight? What was it? Well, after my mega exercise routine, what did I have? I had a lovely Asda lasagna. Lovely, lovely stuff. With a nice McCain's jacket potato. Lovely stuff, beautiful stuff. They do some lovely lasagnas there. Paul Hoskin, thank goodness I have a bar girl inflatable doll. I wonder that'd be the next big thing. You know, I mean, if somebody makes inflatable dolls, that are so lifelike. I mean, I wonder, will it become cool to have your own inflatable doll? I mean, will they become sexually so super advanced in in a womanly sort of way that it'll become like the taboo will go, and now guys will openly be flitting around town with their inflatable dolls. You don't have to buy her too many drinks. She doesn't answer back to you. I mean, what wonderful stuff! Wonderful, sounds great to me. What did Oliver Reed say about his ideal woman? His ideal woman would be a mute nymphomaniac whose father owns a brewery. Okay, maybe we could get one of them. Dutch Farang, nice to hear from you. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me see. Who's this? Why feels? Are the ladies with hairy muffs cheaper than the shaves? No, they're more expensive because they're more rare. Let me see. Rusty Led. Some freelancers already have barcodes on their phones. It's becoming a scanning. Oh, bloody hell! It's amazing. It's amazing. Let me see. Okay, let me see. With Daniel Mills, Ed, if you stay in the UK, all you have to look forward to is high energy bills, night taxes for the rest of your life. Jesus, oh well. Mark Ollig, oh Eddie, you have a magic wand. I wish I had a magic wand. There's lots of bloody things that I wish you could wave a magic wand and the pound would go bloody strong again. But it's just not happening, is it? Sean Harris, Ed, what are your thoughts on renationalising the railways? The government bails the rail companies out all the time. Renationalise them. Well, I don't use them personally, so I don't know whether they're any good or not. I use the National Express, really, so I never ever used them. Let's see. Eastern Man, Margaret Nolan was in 6 of the Carry On films, Our Day's Night and Goldfinger. She's also the gold-painted girl in the opening titles. Okay, that's good to know. London Chinese cabbage, okay? You're always so negative. Well, people like that. People like the idea that I'm a miserable bastard. Let me see. JHK, you're not missing out on Sweden. You cannot even buy cold beer. The beer shop closes 3 p.m. Saturday and closed on Sundays, and the Stella is €2 for a small bottle. I've never actually made it to Sweden. When I was a young kid and never traveled anywhere, I looked at the idea. Well, maybe because I liked ABBA. I thought, Sweden is full of people like ABBA. That lovely blonde one, and Yetta, and whatever. I liked ABBA so much. I thought Swedish blonde. Wouldn't it be lovely to have a Swedish blonde and all that? But apparently, it's a very different country than what you think it is. I've never been there, so I can't really say. Ken Christopherson. Denmark stabbings, gang violence. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just crazy. Oh. Why fuels? Eddie, how much spending money do you think you will need for your travels coming up? Well, more than last time with the weak pound, with the pound going weaker. Probably more than last time, especially if I'm in Cambodia. Cambodia is a great value country, but everything is in dollars. So if you got a weak pound, then it's not going to go very far. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's going to be squeaky door time in a minute. We've waffled on an awful lot. Apologies if missed anyone. Let me see. Okay, let's just go through. Okay, Greg Fox, you've asked if the UK is going down the toilet, and the answer is yes. Okay. Okay, so we'll do that one there, and instead of squeaky door time, I'll be putting this up. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Right, here we go. Let's see. Okay, let's see. There we go. There's a nice. I'm having a nice gorgeous. It's nice. This is bloody nice. I wouldn't drink it all the time. I'll tell you what, Nigel Farage likes gin. Oh, he's got a great YouTube channel, Nigel Farage. But I watched one of his little episodes, only a few minutes, and then he comes advertising the Nigel Farage brand of gin. I don't mind that. It's quite. He's quite a character. He's quite a character. Nigel Farage. And this is Gordon's gin, and it's bloody good. Anyway. Okay, so what are we going to do now? Let's see. Let's have a little look. Why feels is that his chef? They all look the same, mate. They all look the same, don't they? Paul asking, why are white feels on the gin? Yeah, hey, this is tasty. Mm, that's lovely. That's lovely. I would recommend it definitely. Okay, let's see. Why feels coming up with the best guy. Eddie, with the pound week, well, thousands of Thais and Indians. what's it called? A lot of them are already here, mate. A lot of them are already here. I mean, Jesus Christ. You will get a lot more foreigners coming to England. Well, the pound goes weak. But I wonder what we do with our tourist industry, do what Turkey done. I mean, if our pound turns to shite and really goes to zero. The Turkish lira, and I knew people when the Turkish lira went from about 2.5 to a pound to maybe 3.54 to a pound. I knew people who regularly go out to Turkey, and what they were doing, they were buying up lots of Turkish lira because they thought it's great because the Turkish lira is so weak that next year when the Turkish lira goes strong again, I'm going to be quids in because I've got loads of Turkish lira. The Turkish lira didn't go strong again. It just kept going down and down and down and down. And last time I looked, it was about 20 Turkish lira to a pound. Absolutely valueless. But if you go to Turkey, you don't think, I'm gonna, it's gonna be, it's gonna be dead cheap. No, the tourists, they just bung the prices up again. I wonder what we do there. I mean, I wonder, for tourists, I mean, would we be charging, 30 quid for a pint of beer in this country to tourists? If our currency just turns to shite, I don't know. That's what Turkey's done. That's the kind of thing they've done. David Coleman, just some information, guys. I lived in England as a teen. I've been to Egypt, all of South and Central America, all over the Caribbean, most of America and Canada and the far north. Okay, that sounds great. That sounds great. Well, I mean, so it sounds brilliant. South America, and I've been to Central America as well as South America. Wonderful part of the world. Let's see, McLaren. It cost a bomb to holiday here. Better off spending the same holiday in Spain for a week. Yeah, I'd rather do that. Mark Ollick, I have gram bars and coins. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. So let's say I'm afraid. Dutch Farang, I'm afraid to end up in the Bangkok Hilton. Well, then don't get involved in anything that you shouldn't get involved in. That's the way it is. So listen. Okay, so another little question. Okay, we've been on for nearly 1.5 hours now. We've waffled on some heavy stuff. Should we talk about maybe another live stream, maybe Monday or Tuesday, the Great Reset and what we think of all of that? Would that be a good subject, or maybe is that one of those subjects that YouTube don't like you talking about? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, something about a bit light-hearted now for the remainder of this. Okay, here it is. How about this? Okay, something really light-hearted. Michael Janaeus. Michael says, Eddie, a weak pound is bad for us traveling, but it's a good thing for the economy, i.e. exports. Yeah, that's true, but it's bad when we need to, import stuff from other countries, isn't it? Though I don't think overall it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Okay, so how about this? How about this? Just a little a little bit of light-hearted stuff to play yourself out with. Okay, how about this? Okay, so Okay, so there's various ways of asking this question, but you know, when you're traveling and you're in a bar and you hear a song on, yeah, playing on the radio. We all know that Hotel California has been the most overplayed song in the whole history of music. Hotel California is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant song, brilliant record. But it's just, oh, you just heard it so many times. You just, oh, not this again. But the question that I want to ask for this one is, what classic song is really very ordinary? I mean, what song do you hear so many times and you wonder how did that ever become a classic? Because that's just such an ordinary song. Okay, let me see. Okay, okay, you get a misinformation one on your video stream, I reckon. Get a misinformation on your video stream. If we talk about the Great Reset and whatever. Be more Ron. He's a good guy. Met him in Thailand. Good guy. Okay, so I've been watching some of your videos. Ron's cool. Ron's a cool guy. Nice lad. Good lad. Lives in Baltimore. So hello. Okay, let's see. David Coleman, London Chinese cows. Peru was amazing. So much to see and do. Peru's a great country, but I actually think that in terms of a raw-edged, kaleidoscope landscape, mountains, and a raw-edged culture, I actually thought Bolivia was better. I thought was better. Okay, the answer to this question: what classic song is really very ordinary? Okay, Danish Bacon says Wonderwall. Yeah, I agree with that one. I liked that song when it came out, and that made Oasis, but it's not really a great song. It's not really a great song. It is really, yeah, you're right. It is really yeah, it is quite ordinary. Lieutenant Columbo's Glass Eyes, Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, I agree with that one. In fact, I actually think in terms that is about as classic a rock anthem as you can get. And I actually think it is very, very overrated. The first time I heard that song in the 1970s, I heard that and I thought, oh my God, that is amazing. That is amazing. I didn't know Led Zeppelin could do stuff like that. Wonderful stuff. The idea of it, this acoustic beginning and then that marvelous guitar. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. But it has not stood the test of time. It really, really, really hasn't stood the test of time. And I think it's a very, very laborious song to get through now. If you heard it, whenever I hear that, that's another one I thought, oh, not this again. Yeah, not this again. Dutch Farang, I'm Still Standing. Yeah, I think that was Elton's comeback. He was in the doldrums for a couple of years, wasn't he? With all, allegations, all kinds of stuff against him. And then he come up with I'm Still Standing. It's is that a classic? It's a well-known song. I wouldn't say it's a classic, and I wouldn't say it's particularly bad, but it's not a record that I'd put on at home, David Coleman, you will be happy and you will have nothing. The Great Reset. Yeah, we need to talk about this sometime, don't we? We do. Get a Job, Barry. The song Africa. I pass the reins down. I like that song. I like that song. I mean, it's. I wouldn't say that that's ordinary. I think it's above ordinary. I think it is a good song that by Toto. It is a good song. I do like that one. So I wouldn't. I wouldn't necessarily say. Personally, I actually like that song. Leeds. We're getting some good information here about buying gold. He's asking Mark, I was wanting to invest in gold and silver bars, only his coins work out more expensive than bars. Do you need to pay a broker to sell? Okay. Good Coffee. Dire Straits was overplayed too in holiday places. I mean, Dire Straits won by Mark. It was very, very much all about Knopfler, wasn't it? But whatever happened to Dire Straits? I mean, there was such a talented group that you would have thought that they're going to go on forever. After Brothers in Arms, I think they made about one album and just disappeared, didn't they? But What sometimes bothers me is that you only ever hear the Sultans of Swing in a lot of places, whereas the truth is that Dire Straits did a lot of really great songs, a lot of great songs. You know, really, Mark Knopfler, very, very talented, very talented. You Thought, Zombie, great song, but when it goes to Thailand, I never want to hear it again. Yeah, a great entirely. A great entirely. Every bloody live band plays that song. Every live band plays that song. Absolutely. Sean Harris, "Living on a Prayer" is so overplayed. Yeah, it's overplayed. It's a good song that one. I think it's yeah, that's a classic, and in a way, I think. Funnily enough, I seem to recall that the story is that when Bon Jovi recorded that song, they recorded an album, and I didn't really think they thought that that particular one was going to be a big hit. I seem to recall John Bon Jovi said that um, other songs were more likely to be a hit rather than that one. But it is a good track. It's a good song. Good song. Monga Jerry, Wonderwall. Yeah, absolutely. Terry Jones, Baker Street, Jerry Rafferty. Look, I think it was Jerry Rafferty that was overrated personally. I mean, Baker Street, you know, it's a good song, and obviously, you know, they brought the saxophone. All of a sudden, so many bloody songs after that wanted to use the saxophone, and it was a good song. But I think Jerry Rafferty himself, I don't think he made that many good songs. Monga Jerry, It's My Life, Bon Jovi. That's another one that you hear an awful lot. Oh, I must admit, I kind of like that one. I like that song. I do like that song simply because, you know, there's certain songs that you remember for certain places. And I remember the first time I visited Pattaya about 20 odd years ago, 23, well, 22, whatever the hell it was. And I remember I love that place. I was blown away by it. And I remember I was watching the sun go down. I was on a beach bar watching the sun go down, and they were playing that song, "It's Smiley." And I thought, this is great. This is appropriate. Absolutely. Why Are White Fools, Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 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 All around the place. Cats and Good Coffee, Gangnam Style. I think you have to like a certain type of. For people who like that certain type of, what category does that come into? What disco music? You know, if you really like that kind of music, then it's probably pretty good. But I you know, bit annoying really. David Coleman, so many songs are overplayed in these places. It drives me crazy. Uh, Wildcat 66, Suspicious Minds, Elvis Presley. Great drum beat. I've done a karaoke to that one. I like that. I like it. I like, we can't go on together with suspicious minds. And we can't build our dreams on suspicious minds. Oh, that's a karaoke favorite. Brilliant song. Wonderful. One of Elvis's best. Be more on Cranberries, Zones, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It's been said before, but it is a great song, but it's just so bloody overplayed. Live bands, you know, love that song, but you know, you just hear it so many times. Monga Jerry, Candle in the Wind. Oh, yeah, that was Elton's original was about Norma Jean, Marilyn Monroe, wasn't it? But then he sang at Princess Diana's wedding, and he sang at Princess Diana. Well, it makes me sick. That makes me sick. Sean Harris, Hey Jude gets annoying. Yeah, yeah. There's obscure lyrics. I don't think even the Beatles even knew what the lyrics was all about. But oh, Jesus Christ, you don't hear it that much. Not really. Have you ever tried to do a karaoke to Hey Jude? It's embarrassing. Well, my karaoke to Hey Jude was bloody embarrassing. I did it in a pub one night where I live, and I wasn't thinking. I thought, I'll do the karaoke. The problem with that song, it goes on for about 7 minutes. And this, but the last 4 minutes of that song is na 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 na. So I sang this song, Hey Jude. I sang this song, and it was okay when the lyrics are there. But then when the rest of the song is just you're standing there like a bloody lemon with the microphone in your hand, you're going na 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 na. Oh, you just wish it would end. You just, oh my Christ Almighty. Bottle Baby. Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water. With a classic that that is really ordinary. I wouldn't say that that's ordinary. I mean, I love Deep Purple. It's better, and I love all the people involved in. Absolutely wonderful. It's a great. I think it's a great song. I think it does deserve to be a classic, but I think there's better stuff from Deep Purple. And I must admit, when I you hear these songs on the radio when you're a little kid, but then I heard it some years later, and all of a sudden, wow, that converted me to Deep Purple. Ritchie Blackmore's, riffs, wonderful, wonderful. David Coleman, Jesus, I hate all these songs. Okay, thank you. Yogi Bear, Hey Jude, it goes on forever. The Beatles, yeah, I discovered that when I did a karaoke. Rusty Lid, the first time I heard Gangnam Style was in a brothel in Central America. It will always hold a special place in the soundtrack of my highlight reel. Okay. Patrick Kaibe, Sultans of Swing. The only problem I have with that one is that it's Dire Straits' most played songs. In fact, people who didn't know Dire Straits would hear that in a bar somewhere and think that maybe they were a one-hit wonder. Not at all. Dire Straits played done lots and lots of great songs. Michael DiCaprio, it's got to be "Don't Stop Me Now." It's not an overplay. It's not really a classic Queen track, but I think that's quite good. I like Queen, funnily enough. Paul Hoskin, anything by Genesis, but I did enjoy the gorilla on the drums advert. Genesis, I'm old school. I love the original Genesis, the original with Peter Gabriel singing, and I can't remember, it was a Phillips who was on the guitar. They're very, very early stuff. That album Trespass is a wonderful album. That was their first ever one. When Phil Collins took over the band, he done things differently. He started, aiming for the romantic aspect of Genesis. And it probably became a lot more successful then, because then they were appealing to women, whereas before the early Genesis had only really appealed to spotty, snooty public school boys. But I must admit, the early Genesis I love. I love the early Genesis. Lieutenant Columbo's Glass Eye. Thriller, Michael Jackson. Oh, come on. Do you not remember the 1980? That groundbreaking video. I think it was directed by John Landis, who also made movies like Trading Places and a few other comedy stuff. Thriller. Oh, come on. But Thriller, 1984, 1983, 1984, when it was all the right. Come on, you're telling me that one night you didn't come out, you didn't go for a night out with your mates one night, and on the way to the clubs you passed through a cemetery, and you were all going through the cemetery with your hands on your knees, and you were doing the dance, the Thriller dance in the cemetery late at night. You tell me you didn't do that when you were young. I did. Okay. Let's see. London Chinese cabbage. Most of the monks in Batai look like zombies. I mean, Clyde to agree with you there. Dutch Varang, Beethoven, Fairley. Yeah, lovely. I like it. I like Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. That's a lovely song. David Coleman. If I hear these kind of songs in a bar, I usually turn around and just walk out. Don't blame you, mate. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Okay. Sinead O'Connor, nothing compares to you. Okay. Ken Christopher, the boys are back, and that's a good song. Yeah, that's a classic. But I think that is a good song. I mean, the thing about Thin Lizzy, they were a very, very good band, Thin Lizzy, but they never really made it in America, did they? And yeah, funnily enough, I think that song was a hit in America, and years later they used it on the closing scenes from that movie, The Expendables, um, with Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, and a lot of other famous people. I thought that's a good. I actually thought that's a good. I thought it was a good song, but I think it was an example of Phil Lynott and the boys trying to sound like Americans, because if you listen to the lyrics, it's the lyrics sound very, very American. I thought that was their attempt to win the American audience over. Get a job, Barry. Sinead O'Connor, nothing compares to you. I kind of I like that song. I like that one. My wife, whose best one is One Night in Bangkok. Okay, not a bad song, but I don't agree with it. One Night in Bangkok. I bloody sleep through it. I'd sleep through it. I wouldn't have One Night in Bangkok. Michael Gianais, any song that U2 sing. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't like U2. Mongo Jerry, Born to Run, Bruce Springsteen. That's a classic. That is a classic. In fact, there's one poll I put that as the greatest song of all time, and whereas previously that record had been held by what was it? Bob Dylan's "Like a Rolling Stone." Wonderful. London Chinese Cabbage. Pink Floyd has played a lot. Wonderful. They were wonderful. Mark Hollick. I sometimes sell myself or through online, such as eBay. I mostly save them and give as gifts to my children and grandchildren. Okay, that sounds interesting. I wish I knew how to do eBay. I registered with eBay, but I've never really used it or anything like that. Sounds great, man. Sounds terrific. Thank you. Paul Hoskin. What's a song that reminds you of a special moment of your life? Oh, I don't know. Was it when I was out? No, I'm not going to tell you about that. It's rude. McLaren F1 race. Every bloody Matthias soy stream as Hotel California, resounding from a lot of bars. Does it that? I've done that. I've been on the beach in Cambodia, Sihanouk, Phil, and I've been looking for a nice little bar with a bit of music, whatever, and I walked towards the bar, and it's Hotel California. I thought, no, I'm not going in that one. So I've walked a few paces to another bar, and there's this bloody the Hotel California in that one as well. Okay. Matthew Cartwright, My Way, Frank Sinatra. Oh, no, that deserves to be a classic. That deserves to be a classic. It was written by a guy called Paul Anka, and I think he wrote that song especially for Frank Sinatra, and it's a wonderful song. And I think he said years later. Paul Anka was talking about that song years later. He said, you remember when you write a song for Frank Sinatra, it better be good. Otherwise, you might just wake up at a horse's head in your bed. Okay. Mark Hollick. My mom loves Sinatra. I love Sinatra. I even love Nancy Sinatra. Nancy Sinatra, wonderful, terrific. Sinatra was wonderful. I mean, and he sang so many great songs, and he was, maybe not the nicest person in the world, but he was wonderful. Absolutely. Let's see. Okay. Mark Hollick, Hey Jude was overplayed. You don't hear it that many times nowadays. You used to hear it a lot in the bars years ago, but not so much nowadays. But like I said, the West don't ever do a karaoke to it, or it might end up embarrassing like the way that I did. Andrew Hammond's Everything I Do by Brian Adams. Oh, that was bloody nausea. That does not deserve to be. In fact, it didn't even deserve to be a hit. That was the song from that Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner, wasn't it? Everything I Did. And it was #1 for about bloody 2 months in this. Oh, it was bloody nauseating. I mean, all the lyrics were so clear. It was like all the lyrics were intended to tug at your heart. Oh, it was a bloody vomit inducing that song. Absolutely. Okay, Paul Owen, there's no song written that you wouldn't get bored if you heard it over and over. I wouldn't do that. Matthew Cartwright says The Lady in Red. Nice song, but it's not something that I'd personally, I'd personally, I'd personally put on the record player. Mark Ollig, hey Macarena, you get sick of that. That was around the mid-1990s, wasn't it? I first heard that in places like New York and Ibiza in the mid-90s, and I wouldn't listen to that at home, but when you're in a club, it's actually quite fun. That song. But what I did think about that song when it came out, it was such a fun sort of disco, song when it came out. But when I seen the video of it, those two older guys who sang the song, they didn't sing all the song, but they appeared in the song. When I seen them, I thought, Jesus Christ, they look like a couple of cutthroats. They look like a couple of Mexican bandits. Jesus Christ. That's all I thought. Just a thought that I had anyway. Okay. Perhaps no, I don't think that is. I don't think that is a classic. Barber's fault, achy breaky. Oh, that's nauseating. That was nauseating. Mark Ollig, Telephone Line by ELO was nice. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I mean, ELO were great. They were huge during the 1970s. But I think towards the end of the 70s, a lot of other bands started knocking them, claiming that they were a Beatles ripoff and all the rest. But they were. That's a wonderful song, Telephone Line. Marvelous song, absolutely terrific. Love that one. Okay, so be more on. Rick Astley, never gonna give you. Nauseating song. Okay, so let's see. Terry Jones, have you ever seen The Rain? Creedence. That's a good song. I kind of like that one. It's a classic. It's not a wonderful song. It's a good song. But so the question is, what classic song is really very ordinary? Now, Boston. Be more honest, saying Boston more than a film. No, I think you're wrong there. That is a great song. That is a song. Unlike Stairway to Heaven, that has stood the test of time. I must admit, sometimes when I'm in a bar and somewhere in Thailand or whatever, and they invite you to put some songs on YouTube, whatever, I often put that one on because that is it's a great song, wonderful song. Issa Man said, "My Way" by everybody who sung it except Sid Vicious. Oh yeah, his version was good. His version was bloody good. Mark Eddie would have made a great radio DJ. Wolfman, I could be a radio. I could do that, couldn't I? I would do, except they're on YouTube. You have all these copyright issues. You can't bloody play. Oh, you have all these copyright issues, don't they? Awful. Okay, Leeds. I hate it when people murder the songs in karaoke. It puts me off. Well, it doesn't me because the thing is, if I'm in a karaoke bar and I'm half in the mood to do a karaoke, if people who get up who are absolute crap, I love it because that means I can then get up and I can't do any worse than them. Whereas if a bunch of really, really good singers get up, I think, no, I'm not doing a karaoke. There's nothing worse than putting your name down for the karaoke when you're in a queue, and then a couple of brilliant singers get up and do a really great karaoke's, and then they say, Eddie, our next one is Eddie. It's sing. Oh God, no! I don't want to go on after them. I'm going to look like a right prick. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yogi Bear, Peter Gabriel had a great solo career after leaving Genesis. Peter Gabriel, very, very intelligent, very, very talented artist, definitely. David Mayer, Jailbreak, Thin Lizzy. Well, I wouldn't say that was a classic. It's not one of their best. They did do some good songs, but not one of their best, is it? Okay, so I'm gonna. It's now an hour and 52. I'll do a couple more minutes anyway, and then. So we've waffled on a little bit. This is interesting. Yogi Bear, Merry Christmas, everybody, was written by Noddy Alder, and he gets 250 grand every January in royalties. That's brilliant. Well, good for him. Good for him. Slade was terrific in the day. £250,000 every January. Well, that's good, unless he tries to go on holiday with it, when it'll probably be worth bloody nothing. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to wrap it up now. Let me see. Capo 17. Nancy Sinatra, those boots were made from walking street. Nancy Sinatra, what a gorgeous bed. She was so feminine, blonde, and no tattoos, and the way women should look. And that's actually a naughty video, that these boots are made. All the other girls now got very, very short sort of skirts on, and I love Nancy Sinatra. Mark Alec still gets chills watching Sinatra sing the last part of My Way. Oh, yeah, wonderful. On stage on his 80th birthday celebration in 1995. The old line can still roar. Wonderful. Well, if you managed to see Sinatra, that's wonderful, wonderful memory. Absolutely. Oh, he was wonderful, Sinatra. Oh, love for Sinatra. So let's see. So I'm gonna end. We're coming up to two. We're going to come up to 2 hours now. We've waffled on a little bit. We've had some serious stuff and had some very, very some light-hearted stuff. So I think we've all done enough of that one anyway. So on Monday and on Tuesday evening, 10 o'clock, as you know, I've said this before, but Mondays and Tuesdays, I have affection because Mondays and Tuesdays are quiet evenings. I mean, what the hell else is going on Monday and Tuesdays? Yeah, it's a good time to be doing a live stream, 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock Mondays and Tuesdays. So come along to the Steady Eddie live channel then. Should we talk about the big? Would anybody be interested in that, or would that be too controversial? For YouTube to be talking about this. Marco, all I want for Christmas is you, by Mariah Carey. I mean, it's not a bad song, but I wouldn't say that was a classic either. But I must admit, do you know something? When I was somebody mentioned Rio de Janeiro earlier, and when I first went to Rio de Janeiro, I met a girl who looked the image of Mariah Carey. She was a Brazilian girl. Her name was Sandra, and she came from Manaus. She was in the Amazon. I was thinking of her as Sandra from the Amazon. Yeah, and wonderful, gorgeous bird. And I must admit, when I come back from Brazil, I was watching the TV, and then Mariah Carey popped up on the TV. And as soon as I seen her, I thought, my God, that's Sandra from the Amazon. Oh, my God almighty. Lovely stuff. Anyway. Okay, Marco. Sinatra singing New York on his 80th. New York. That's so wonderful. New York. Start spreading the news. Oh, wonderful. I'm gonna make a brand new start of it in old New York. Oh, I was sounding like a right late night Saturday night piss out there. Okay, wonderful. I love it. You know what? So they used to at the discos used to go to years ago. Right at the end of the night, they play that song, and everyone would start acting stupid, and yeah, and but it was great fun. Great song, great song, great song. Yogi Bear, okay. Ed, it's been a great stream. Catch you on Monday at 10 p.m. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's see. Marco, Frank could hold that last night. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't think I could hold that last night, but I'm sure Frank could do it. Okay, so let's see. Marco, Times Square on New Year's Eve always plays Sonata. Wonderful song. Wonderful song. Wildcat, you must talk about the amount of immigrants coming here, Eddie. I think we already have done. Around Nigel Farage will make a brilliant PM. Please do that on the other chat. I think we already have talked about that, to be honest with you. Okay, I am Tilt. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to wrap this one up anyway. Now it's been a lovely evening. Thank you for everyone coming along. Okay, have a lovely Sunday. And I'll be back Monday evening. We'll do the big question. We'll sort some things out. This is good fun anyway. Because like I said, this is not my main channel. It's not my main channel, but it's not my main channel. It's my second channel. So this means that the pressure is off. And it's great to have you guys along here. We have a great little community. Thanks a lot for coming. Have a lovely Sunday. I'll see you Monday night. Cheers, guys. There we go. Yo.